Peace and blessings to you all. Greetings. How are you guys doing? Man, I hope you're doing great. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Man, it's a good day outside. It's pretty sunny. So let's get right into this study. I want to give all the glory to the Father. And this is part 2 of Faith and Trust series. And this one will be called First Believe, Then See. First Believe, Then See. This is what this will be called, and this is part 2. So like, share, and subscribe that others may hear the word of our Father. And let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. So the opening text will be in the book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 11 through 14. And it reads, "And it came to pass, as he went to Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of Samaria in Galilee. And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off. And they lifted up their voices and said, Yeshua, Master, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves to the priests. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed." So he says, Go show yourselves to the priests. And it came to pass as they went that they were cleansed. All right. First believe, then see. So just looking at this text in Luke 17, verse 11 through 14, it says, "And it came to pass as he went to Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off." So leprosy, of course, no one wanted to touch a leper, or they would be contaminated, they would be unclean, or they could be possibly get the effects of the leprosy upon themselves. But this leprous man stood afar off. And leprous is, of course, sometimes it comes from sin. Somebody could be made leprous because of sin, and it's exactly what that is. Sin makes somebody stand afar off. We know in the Garden of Eden, we know what happened in the beginning when Adam sinned, that it said the Father, he heard him walking in the cool of the day. And when he heard him walking, he hid himself. He stood afar off. And then the Father, he ends up coming to him and says, Adam, where are you? So the one who initiated the reconciliation was the Father. And that's how he does with us. So that's his mercy and that's his love even in that. And this is what they did, except at this point, when they saw Yeshua, when they saw Jesus, they said, Master, have mercy on us. Have mercy on us. In verse 13, and when they lifted up their voices and said, Yeshua, have mercy upon us, have mercy on us. Verse 14, it says, and when he saw them, he said unto them, Go, show yourselves to the priests. So the 10 lepers, they met him. They stood afar off. They know they're unclean. They stood afar off and they lifted up their voices and said, Master, have mercy on us. And we can always lift our voices up to him. Of course, it speaks about a lot about this in the book of Psalms, that when we cry, the Father hears our voices. When we lift up our voices to him, he hears us. He's always ready to answer our prayers. He's always ready to hear us. He's always ready to comfort us and to strengthen us. But right here, when they lifted up their voices, asking him to have mercy upon them, first believe, then see. It says in verse 14, and when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves to the priests. So he didn't say, as in other places, do you believe that I'm able to do this? As many other places, he said, do you believe that I'm able to do this? Or what would you have me to do? When somebody came and they beseeched him or they strongly urged him for help, they asked him for help and he was like, what do you want me to do for you? Or what can I do for you? Or do you believe that I'm able to do this? He says something interesting right here. He says, Go show yourselves to the priests. When they asked for him to have mercy, when they asked for Yeshua to have mercy on them, he didn't say what he would do. He sent them on a walk of faith. And this is how we're supposed to walk. The Bible says, walk by faith and not by sight. Walk by faith and not by sight. First believe, then see. And when he saw them, verse 14 in Luke 17, and when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priests. He didn't give them an okay, yes, I'll heal you. Yes, I'll do this. Go show yourselves unto the priests. What did they have faith in? his word, and that alone. Go show yourselves unto the priest. They know who they're talking to. Son of David. Most of them would say in different places, Yeshua, Yahushua, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. They know exactly who they're talking to. This is the Son of the Most High. He has all power. Go show yourselves unto the priest. So they take him at his word, no confirmation that they would be cleansed. Go show yourself to the priest. Faith. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed. As they went, we walk by faith and not by sight. As they went, they were cleansed. First believe, then see. As they went, they were cleansed. And it says, of course, in the text after this, that one of them came back, which is sad that only one came back to give glory to the Father, but he came back and he was praising the Most High. He was praising God. He was praising the Father for what he had done for him through his Son. So first believe and then see. This is what he wanted them to experience. Let's look at another instance in John chapter 11, verse 39 through 40. This is when Lazarus was found out that he was sick, and he had told the disciples Lazarus is sleeping, and his disciples said, if he sleeps, then he does well. He'll do well. But then it said, then Yeshua spoke plainly, Lazarus is dead. But let me just go to it. Let me just go to it. In John chapter 11. John chapter 11. Starting at verse 11, it says, then these things said he, and after that he said unto them, my friend Lazarus sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. Then said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he should do well. Howbeit Yeshua spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of him taking rest. Verse 14, then said Yeshua unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. Key verse 15 in John 11. And I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent you may believe. So he said, I'm glad, not just, okay, I'm happy Lazarus is dead. I'm happy. The Messiah wasn't just happy that Lazarus is dead and it brought him great joy. No, that's not the case. He said in verse 15, I am glad for your sakes that I was not there, to the intent that you may believe. To the intent that you may believe. He desired them to believe. I'm glad that I wasn't there, to the intent that you will believe. So when I go, you're going to realize that I am he who I've been telling you I am, who I've been explaining to you that I am, the Son of the Most High, the Son of God, the Son of Yah. And then if we go even past this verse that I'm about to talk about, in verse 41 in John 11, it says, then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Yeshua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me, and I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. So when he says this, going back in John chapter 11, verse 15, that he was glad that Lazarus was dead for your sakes, speaking to the disciples, for the intent that you may believe. He wanted them to believe. He wanted them to trust in his power. He wanted them to trust in his power and his identity. His power and his identity as the Son of the living Yah. So right here in John chapter 11, verse 40, what do we see? 39 and 40 with this story of Lazarus, right before he's about to raise him. In John 11, 39 and 40, it says, Yeshua said, take ye away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, said unto him, Lord, by this time he stinketh, for he hath been dead 4 days. He's been dead 4 days. Naturally, he should stink. His body is starting to decay. Verse 40, Yeshua saith unto her, said I not unto thee? Said I not unto thee? Who am I? Who is the one who is speaking? It's the Messiah. That if thou wouldest believe, thou shouldest see the glory of God, or the glory of Elohim. He said, if you would believe, you will see the glory of God, because he wants us to walk by faith. We see when we go. We see when we believe. If thou wouldest believe, thou shalt see. Or if you will believe, you will see the glory of God. And this is exactly what he did in this opening text in Luke 17:11 through 14. Starting at verse 12, and as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off. And they lifted up their voices and said, Yeshua, Master, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priests. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed. Walk by faith. This is what he calls us to each and every day. If thou wouldest believe, John 11, verse 40, if you will believe, you shall see the glory of God. So the glory of God appeared to these men in this first text, Luke 17, verse 14, when they went and they took him at his word. That's what the centurion did in Matthew chapter 8, verse 5 through 11. Matthew chapter 8, verse 5 through 11, the centurion wanted his servant healed. But he told the Messiah, I'm not worthy for you to even come under my roof. He was humble. And he said, just speak the word only, and I know my servant shall be healed. For I'm a man under authority, and I tell people to do this, and they do it, to go there, and they go. And it said the Messiah marveled because he has not found such great faith. The great faith was in the man saying, speak the word only. And that's exactly how he desires us to be, to go just like this. And look at a verse, and you take that verse and you run with it. You get on your knees, you pray, and you believe him for his promises, because he will never lie. He will never lie. He will never lie. In the book of 2 Timothy, is it 2 Timothy or Titus 2? No, it's 2 Timothy chapter 2. 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13. No, verse 14. 2 Timothy chapter 2. No, yeah, it's verse 13. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13, it says, If we believe not, yet he abides faithful. He cannot deny himself. If we don't believe, he abides faithful. He will not deny himself. How can the Father deny himself? By going against his own word. By going against his own word. If we don't believe his word, he's not going to deny himself. He says, I will not utter the words that has come out of my mouth in the Psalms. He says in the book of Malachi, chapter 3 and 6, I am Yah, or I am the Lord, I change not. So he remains faithful. He won't deny himself. So we can take him his promises always, knowing that he will fulfill his word, because he will not be found a lie. He will always fulfill his word to us. And if we believe, we will see the glory of Yah, whether it be healings like this leper man, healings physically, because the gifts of the Spirit has not ceased. He's still raising people from the dead. Literally, spiritually, of course, raising people from the dead, taking a man such as myself was and renewing them completely. So I praise Yah for that. But he is literally raising people from literal death still. Casting out of demons, healing people with the laying on of hands through prayer. He is doing these things. And if we will believe, we shall see the glory of Yah. That's how he desires his people to be. I desire that greatly. To walk like the people in the book of Acts, which were about action, sharing the gospel, ministering the gospel, speaking to people, sacrifice. The more we sacrifice, the more we'll see of his glory. We give up everything for him and his work, his will, we will see more of his glory. Another verse we can look at is in Isaiah 64, verse 7. It says, And there is none that calleth upon thy name, that stirreth up himself to take hold of thee. There's nobody that calls upon your name and stirs himself up to take hold of you. So Isaiah is saying that we don't even stir ourselves up to take hold of you. And we take hold of him by taking hold of his word. Walking by faith, he will never leave us nor forsake us. He goes before us and behind us. He's laid his hand upon us. As David says, such knowledge is too wonderful for me. If I go here, you're there. If I go there, you're there. If I go to the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall your hand lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. He's with us. He's with us in power. All we have to do is surrender to him and trust him and his word. Because then, as he did with the centurion, he will marvel and say, I have not found so great faith. No, not in all Israel. I have not found so great faith as in you or in me. He desires that. I'm sure it makes him very happy, because he would never lie. He wants his children to have faith in him and to believe. And as he said, we'll close with this last verse in the book of Luke. In the book of Luke, chapter 18. As we're getting closer and closer to the end. In the book of Luke, chapter 18, verse 8, it says, I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth? I pray that he finds faith in you, and I pray he finds faith in me when he comes back. Faith, trust in his word, in his promises, in his provision, in his providing, in his keeping power. And in Yeshua's name, we can do all this and be more than conquerors through him that loved us. And as always, I love you. Shalom.